Twitch actually.
Awesome.
And I know that my the people that check in on YouTube are gonna be like, bruh, what the heck are you doing right now?
We're testing.
So we're testing. So I do have I got my Facebook my Facebook open over on this. I can't even talk. Facebook open on this computer, on this monitor, and so
Yeah.
I can see the chat there. I'm not gonna start playing it because
Okay.
then that would be weird feedback and all that stuff.
Are you going to leave the content up once it's now that's going on there?
Once once we finish with this particular live, I
Mhm.
will probably take this down and then like edit it in a longer video.
Sure.
But
Okay.
so
Oh, cool. Okay.
yeah. So the reason I was looking into Restream was because I wanted to stream when I was doing my live content. I wanted to stream to multiple platforms, and that was really the selling feature of Restream for me.
Hmm.
And particular trying to get the chats from all of these sources to come into one place.
Which makes a lot because I've seen people do like a Facebook live chat and then switch over to Instagram. Like, all right, going over to Instagram now, and it's kind of like, well, that seems like such a waste.
Yeah.
It's an odd. Yeah, you're not
Yeah.
crossing over properly.
Well, you see, the only thing about going live to Instagram is going live from a computer or from a something like Restream or Ecamm Live or something like that
Mhm.
is really against their terms of service because like the platform isn't built for that or whatever. So
Mhm.
I don't. You can do it, but you have to like finagle it some kind of way, which puts your account at jeopardy. So I don't really fool around with that. But with this, you can stream to Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, Twitch, and a
Yeah.
bunch of other different platforms that they have.
Mhm.
So that's dope. Hey, for those who are watching this whole little live test right now, I got my homie Steven Schwartz, badass keyboard player. Nate Cameron, Tanking the Bangers. He was on for a minute, but he's leaving the studio or whatever, so he couldn't stay on with us. Dude, so I've been listening to these mixes that you sent.
Yeah.
These Crooked Vine mixes. You want to
Mhm.
tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, so the Crooked Vines is my, brainchild, my big project that I've been doing 7, 8 years in New Orleans now. And I'm the keyboardist and composer and band manager, and the trombone player, James, is also a big part of it. So
Okay.
if you've heard him on there, he and I are the ones who like own the LLC, and we make a lot of the decisions, and we handle a lot of the logistics. Our former singer, Michaela Brown, was also obviously a big voice in the band, but she has since left and before COVID started. And so once the whole lockdown situation started happening, I had been planning for a long time to compile a live album of the band that would cap off her time.
Mm-hmm.
So, and before we move on to the next thing, because we are continuing and there's some things in the works. This lockdown situation gave me time to work on it, and it kind of blossomed in this big thing. And so I sent Ted, my friend Ted, a test demo of the album to listen to and to give me some feedback on what he thought. So I'm excited. I haven't heard from you yet, so I'm excited.
Man, dude, it sounds good. Like I said, one of the first things I noticed was like, these guys have a theater background. Like I heard there was one part. It seemed like a skit.
Yeah.
Now was that planned or was that like an actual audience interaction?
No, that's so there's a lot on the album that's fabricated, and as you move forward, so and I explain a little bit at the end, and I don't know how much I'm going to keep of this on the eventual product, but
Yeah.
I'm a huge fan of Frank Zappa is a big person in my sphere of music, and many others. And one of the things I like is his concept of hybrid albums, taking live material and overdubbing things and editing. So you kind of create this really interesting musical product at the end of it. And other people have done it too, not just him. So what I did is, and hopefully it's somewhat not noticeable because that means I did a good job, is there's overdubs and edits There's one song in there that starts in 2015. It goes to 2019, back to 2015. And all I was, it's cool, and it would be a lot cooler if I had all the threads. I only had single wave files.
Yeah.
I didn't have like all the drum threads, because you can make that way more seamless if you have control over, you know, the original bass track and the drums and everything. So I thought I did a pretty good job doing EQs and edits and all sorts of stuff, and then overdubs for certain things. And initially I thought I was only going to have, you know, maybe 6 songs out of all, you know, so I had this idea of doing fake interviews with the band members. I thought that'd be kind of funny. Little skits, little fake interviews. But I ended up with like 14, 15 songs. So the interviews, I'm not sure if they're going to stay or not. So I'm wondering how you felt about the one that you heard or any of the others. Basically, each band member gets an opportunity to do something.
No, I think it's cool, man. To be honest with you, first of all, I just have to say, you know that Purple Rain is largely a live album.
Yes.
So, I mean, there's a guy on Instagram, I can't remember his name, TikTok or something, and the guy had, hold on one second, that's Nate texting me.
Okay. Maybe Nate can hop on it again.
Yeah, so this guy had, I don't know where he got these stems from, but had stems of Let's Go Crazy, and was like, I'm like, I would love to hear those stems or get my hands on those stems.
Yeah.
But as far as what you're saying with these skits and stuff like that, I came up in a time listening to you know, concept records. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
that's a lost art, man. You know, you have to. Everybody knows I'm a huge Prince fan. Love Sexy. You know, when that was released. It was released on, you know, CDs was like the new technology or whatever, but it was one track, right?
Oh, okay.
So the CD came out, and you know, because Prince wanted you to listen to the whole thing,
yeah,
as a story, and it really was this big story that was best consumed from start to finish. But it had all these little segues and skits and stuff in that. So I love that concept. So
I'm glad to hear that.
I'm seeing the first comment in from my homie Brooks Smith on YouTube. So Brooks, let me tell Brooks what's going on. We are testing the chat capabilities of restream.io, and this is my homie Steven Schwartz, keyboardist extraordinaire from New Orleans. Who is also the band leader and brainchild behind a group called the Crooked Vines here in New Orleans. And so we were talking about a project that he's mixing. He sent me some test pressing.
Test pressing, yeah.
To check out. I haven't gotten all the way through it yet, but you know, I met Michaela at a Grammy event.
Yeah.
Before COVID.
Okay.
And then just recently, the Memphis chapter had an event on Zoom. And so I met her again, and I was like, I can't remember where we met before. And I said, it's going to come to me. And then I was like, at the end of this breakout group, I was like, Steven Schwartz. That's who it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's cool people, man. Great singer.
She's a great singer and a super great person too. Very kind and you know, caring about others, and super friendly. And I mean, she's really a darling of New Orleans in a way, and I mean that in a good way. She's ingratiated herself into the culture here. I mean, we're both transplants. I'm from Philadelphia area, and she's from Maryland area by way of University of Wisconsin in Madison. And I went to Loyola here, so I had my thing, but she came, you know, and just kind of got her, you know, WWOZ and introduced other people, the Grammy thing, all these. So yeah, she's great, and you know, it was just when she left the band earlier this year, it was just kind of a natural parting of ways. So.
Yeah. Now she seems like real good people. Now, when you left Philly, was there any place in between here in Philly, or did you just go straight from Philly to Loyola? I
mean, I went, graduated high school and then came here in the fall of 07.
Yeah. You know, while we got people on the, you know, my homies, I see Brooks, I see Excellent on the chat.
Cool.
I've got a real cool community over at YouTube, and I know sometimes I've had some some bigger name guests on the channel or whatever. But I personally think that it's cool to have people like yourself or like other homies that are busy working and doing stuff that aren't really known, because we live in this space, this social media celebrity, all this stuff, man. And I think people lose sight of the fact that regular people out here eating off of playing music.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Making sustainable incomes and stuff like that. Well, I mean, it's a little tough right now, but
Well,
so I like to have chats with the homies. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So,
I love it.
Hey, before I forget anything, where can people check out the Crooked Vines online right now?
Everywhere. I mean, we have obviously our own website and Bandcamp, but you can find us on Spotify, iTunes, Apple Music, SoundCloud, YouTube. I mean, all the places that you could. So if you just type us in,
all the things,
and it's funny that I think I almost am about to say something snooty, but it's not going to be snooty. I believe that because of the accessibility of music these days and the way that you can put things out, that most artists should, if you can, do it. I think that accessibility is very important at a lower level. I think that you can only create gates to yourself when you have that higher trajectory. Yeah. And I don't agree when I do know some people that, oh no, I'm exclusively on whatever platform. That's it. Maybe Patreon, I can understand facets of that, but I still think that you need to be present to an overall public so that people who don't know you well enough can check something out. So speaking to the Crooked Vines, you can check us out basically anywhere. And we have 2 albums out, and as we were talking about, I'm working on a 3rd, which is a live album, or live hybrid album. So,
dope.
Yeah.
I did get. Who's your bass player?
It is currently Jonathan Sullivan.
Jonathan Sullivan. I got to a part in the recording where he took some nice solo.
Yeah.
Does he have a YouTube channel? Like, I'm seeing a lot of comments right now coming in from YouTube, which is what I thought I was going to get most of my comments from YouTube. Like, these cats, I see you, G.E. Brown. I see you in the chat, baby boy. Brooks, my dude. Man, wait a minute. This particular channel is Brooks, brother. I appreciate that comment so much. You just don't even know. Thank you so much. I want to read it to everybody. This particular channel is enlightening for the simple fact that everyone uplifts everyone and nobody makes anyone feel inferior, stupid, or unworthy of information. You damn right. You know how we do.
Yeah.
We know how we do. Thank you. Excellent. Thank you. Anyway, so does your bass player have a YouTube channel that these cats could check out, or any other like stuff?
As far as I know, no. I believe that he has a DJ name that he is starting to create his own channel. I don't know what it is. I think he's in the process. The reason that because he was just texting me the other day. He's like, do you know anything about Sound Exchange? I'm like, yeah, Sound Exchange. Make sure, because I learned early on, for those listening who do music, register your things everywhere. That's what I was talking about, the accessibility. Harry Fox Association, HFA, put all your stuff on there. Sound Exchange and all the others, the Nielsen, which is part of the Harry Fox, you connect all those things. SoundScan, which is Harry Nielsen, that's separate, but it's all connected. You'd be surprised how much little money I get. So, I mean, and I don't mean necessarily like it is little. If I had more plays, it would be a lot. But you'd be surprised how much money that they collect, BMI Live or whatever, as PRO that you belong to. Hey, Nate.
Nate.
Yes, sir.
Hey, you put a goddamn shirt on. No,
Nah, man.
This is the TED Talk.
That was earlier. You had technical difficulties, so you missed that part of the show. You're bad.
Let me introduce Nate Suave. motherfucking partner, Cameron. What's up, homie?
What's up, man?
You coming from the phone? You on the phone?
I'm on the phone. I'm gonna hop on the computer here. I just had to let it charge up.
Hold on a second. Excellent. Glad you got the shirt. Excellent. Bought himself a TED Talks base shirt. And
Cool.
he was like one of the first people to get a TED Talks base shirt. So Excellent wins the game today. Johnny, tell him what he's won. Nate,
Buy me a shirt.
I got you, bruh. Nate, go and tell the people who you are and what you do, bro.
I'm just a human being trying to survive on this world. Name is Nate Cameron. People know me as Suave, performer, manager, arts enabler, curator, all of that good stuff. A lot of folks know me from managing Tank and the Bangers, signed to Universal. Yeah, man, and love making music. Love just help making music happen. Have a new studio here in New Orleans called Hits After Hits, and so yeah, man, my hand is into a whole bunch of different things. Working with the city on doing some arts initiatives and some music economy infrastructure building, and making sure that the natives of New Orleans and specifically the native Black culture bearers and people of New Orleans are included into that. So yeah,
Yes,
that's kind
sir.
of the latest things, but my hands in a whole lot of different things.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, every now and then I get to make some music with this guy Ted. We
Well,
get to make some music every now and then.
speaking of that,
We did a thing.
I need to give a plug. Now I need to give a plug, and everybody needs to go after we done with this. Everybody needs to go to Bandcamp. All right, that's brothertheodore.bandcamp.com and pick up the pick up the whole Saint Anne album by Brother Theodore. But if you've heard the 504, or when you hear the 504, that is on that first verse and them gumbo hooks. We call them gumbo hooks. That's none other than Nate Suave Cameron. And Steven, I don't know if I told you how that song came about, man, but I was walking. Both Nate and I were living in the Bay Area at the time.
Mhm.
And so I'm out on a walk. I used to walk around Castro Valley all the time. And I get this bass line in my head, and I saw I'm humming it in my voice recorder, right?
Yeah.
So I send it over to Nate as a voice memo, and I say, "Hey man, write something to this," right? And I said, "Write something about home." I think within the hour he sends back the hook.
Yeah.
I get in the Reason. I was using Reason at the time. I get in the Reason, record the bass line, and I come back with another little thing, and then he come back with another little thing, and what wound up happening, man, is absolutely incredible. I'm still hoping to get some sync happening for that tune somewhere
It's a
around
good
the
song.
city of New Orleans. So
Go
we're
happy.
looking forward to that.
Go happy. There's no
Nate,
timeline.
Yeah.
let me ask you this, Nate. A lot of the cats that are watching this live stream on YouTube are cats that play bass in either in bands, or they kind of play for themselves, or they making beats, or whatever. What kind of advice or inspiration could you give to cats that are making music at home?
Cats that are making music at home. I mean, so the first piece of advice coming from my, world of music business and DIY is to, dedicate, if you can, an equal amount of learning or just ingesting music business and just new things happening. Ingesting can mean, researching something that you don't know about the music business, or a term that you don't know. It could mean staying up on a blog or a website that talks about the newest music business trends, just kind of staying aware of what's going on. I think, treating the business side of things and giving it the respect as you do your craft is important. Am I saying, sometimes you have to go in the music business shed. Sometimes kind of what I tell some of the homies. And what that means is sometimes when I go in the music business shed, it's like, okay, I heard somebody mention something, or I was in a meeting and they mentioned this and I know a little bit about it, but I really want to deep dive in to find out a little bit more about it. I mean, that's kind of what I did as a musician, as an artist. I learned some things within the school structure, the private instruction, kind of sort of category, but a lot of different things. I kind of got sparked, and then I just take that spark and ran off. And then I was just fortunate, I guess, privileged enough to be in an age range where when my interest started peaking in that kind of stuff, AOL dial-up. There were free AOL dial-up discs everywhere. I had a drawer full of the free 100-hour AOL. I never
Hey,
paid.
neither one of you cats are that old to remember that. What were you, like 3 when that came out?
I'm like middle school. That's like
No,
7th grade for me.
Steve breath still smelling like Similac. He he don't even know what Similac is. Talking about AOL free disc.
Yeah.
What y'all talking about,
I,
man?
I, I remember. That's I don't know.
I had the AOL every day. But no, seriously, yeah, definitely study your craft, study the business, stay up on the business. I know a lot of magazines, like some of the base magazines specifically and blogs have been doing some better jobs, of kind of touching on some of the business or how some of these folks that are successful have handled business. I know me and Ted oftentimes have a lot of conversation, if not sometimes in some seasons more, just about how the behind the scenes business stuff works, because sometimes the music stuff just flows. And with a lot of us as musicians and creatives, that can flow, and it can be frustrating when you get to the business side of things and it doesn't flow like how the creative side, that can be kind of frustrating. But yeah, I would say, man, find you a music business shed, whatever that is. Find you some websites, find you some publications, find you some people. There's some OGs in the game, and be like, man, OG, how did you make this tour work, making $2 a night? How did you make this work where you went up to war with this label for your rights? I talked to some of the old heads, who have gone through some things and have made it out the other side. George Porter being one of them. I mean, he has some very public, and his group has had some very public, issues with labels, publishers, all that kind of stuff. And they've come out the other side, and not too many people can say that. So yeah, talk to folks, learn some stuff, get in that music business shed, and the creative
Nate,
side.
I know you and I could both speak to it. I'm sure Steve could speak to it as well. I won't call no names, man, but I'm thinking about 3 cats in particular who I know. One cat, I honestly feel like was like the second coming of Prince, like that kind of talented. You know what I mean? But the creative brain is so over here. I don't want nothing to do with the business, which is, real detrimental. You know what I'm saying? But I think especially now, man, the floodgates are kind of open with, it looks like things are shut down and the music industry is in such flux, but there's also opportunity. There's opportunity to pivot. I see Tank just did a little pivot with the Cameo joint.
I saw that too.
Yeah.
Got to, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the music ain't gonna stop.
The music ain't gonna stop, and we are a staff of 12 people. At minimum. Sometimes we go on bigger tours. We can get to 24 people. So like, it ain't just. That's another thing a lot of people don't realize. It ain't just who you see. There's a machine behind that, and there's so yeah, that's important.
That's
Go ahead, Steve. Go ahead.
Well, I was just saying, Nate, it was funny because before you jumped on, I was talking about something about that element of getting into the business, and I was just going to say that part of my experience in having a publishing company and LLC for my band and figuring out how to register all the things and get the most money is reading, like you were saying, books, blogs. I mean, like the Donald Passman book, music business book, and all the other music business. There's many of them. You can find them but then taking that behind the scenes knowledge and going into an applicable situation with like a seminar or a sync up conference or something where you actually meet the people who are doing it, you meet the panelists and such. And that's where you can find out that knowledge that you read about, how is that really applied in real life? So that has given me a lot of perspective on that. So that's if we're giving anyone advice, that's do your homework and then go out and live
and
it.
do it. Do your homework and then do the homework.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah. And don't skip on steps. So many people skip on a step of like registering their copyright or not applying for the right licensing or whatever it is. Whatever the step that you skipped, it might be the one that bites your butt.
Yeah.
It's always gonna be that one.
Yeah.
It's always gonna.
It's oh my god! It's on that point. My band is the Crooked Vines, but when we bought the EIN and made it into an LLC, I guess the government crops off the words "the" and the commas.
Yep.
So legally, we're Crooked Vines LLC, but our trade name with the state of Louisiana is the Crooked Vines, LLC. The whole point of all of it, I applied for the EIDL Advance, the EIDL thing. Supposed to get one, and now it's in this whole paperwork nightmare because the government EIN doesn't have a the bank account has a one fucking word, and I'm missing thousands of dollars for my band, my business.
Wow.
So, but it's like one of those things, all it takes is one little thing. So do your homework.
Yeah, man.
Well, fellas, I want to say again, I meant to say hello to Brandy Thrift over at YouTube. Brandy, forgive me. I saw you. I didn't say anything, and now I'm ashamed. I'm ashamed of myself. Brandy always comes on the live stream, and if I don't say, Brandy, everybody say hello, Brandy.
Hello, Brandy.
Hello, Brandy.
That's the homie. Brandy is the homie. I've never seen her face, but that's the homie. I got Stephen Bird in there. Brooke Smith, Stephen Bird. Excellent. I see you fellas. All right, look, we ain't going to be all day with this. I appreciate you fellas, number one, helping me test this capability of Restream. Also, dropping some of your knowledge on the people.
Yeah, man. I'll put a shirt on next time, maybe, but it's hot here in New Orleans. I'm sorry, y'all. Check the temperature of New Orleans. It's hot.
So damn hot.
Berkeley, the artist said it's demonic.
It is
hell hot.
It is demonic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
California had their little heat wave. I was like, y'all don't get up out of here with y'all little punk ass heat wave. We over here
107 heat index. I was building a stage in 107 heat index the other day.
That's right for the Lakefront Arena joint.
Yeah, melted. Straight melted, B.
This what I gotta ask. I can't let y'all run off without saying this. So Tank and the Bangers just did a drive-in concert.
Yeah.
At Lakefront Arena. I couldn't go. Lakefront Arena is not far from the crib, but I couldn't go because I'm technically still on COVID quarantine since I flew to California. And Nate was like, nah, bro, you stay your ass at home.
I didn't say it.
What was that like, man? What was that like?
That was cool, man. It was a good experience. We had 255 cars parked outside of Lakefront Arena, 8 feet in between each. Everybody had a little painted zone, so it was enough space for people to park and then get out and have a little lawn chair or have a little dancing floor next to their car. Man, it worked out well, man. It worked out well. Didn't have any issues. Went cool. When you pulled in, you saw we had various screens, various visual screens that had announcements and ads on it. One of which was a merch ad. We had a merch app and a merch vendor that did the mobile merch so that you can place a merch order on your phone and then they would bring it to your car. So that was pretty cool. You were still able to sell some merch, which is, again, important. Like I said, when you're talking about getting some funds directly to the artist, merch is important. That went down. there were announcements about an FM stream. There was an FM station where you could hear the audio of the show in that station when you were within that radius. And so a lot of folks got the audio like that. But then we also had live audio from a PA system. And yeah, man, we did a 90-minute set, and it worked out well, and the people
Dude.
had fun. And I think that was the first time. I think the mayor's office hit us up, and that was the first registered time that had ever been done. I don't know. People say that it's been done before, like in the 80s, because somebody did it by what was then the baseball field. I guess that's on Carrollton and Tulane. There was an old baseball field that some folks mentioned it was a drive-in concert. But modern times, that's something that, that we kind of put off. And actually just yesterday, part 2 of that series, Galactic, along with Angelica Jelly Joseph, my homegirl and sister from Thank You the Bang, and she also leads that band as well. And they did yesterday, and again was sold out.
Smashed it.
Yeah, weather was good.
You
It
think
was hot,
I
but that was the
read
time of
something
day where it
today?
cooled down.
I read something today that I can't remember who it was. It was something that Reed shared on Facebook. He was talking about concerts not coming back until 2022.
Yeah, Greg. Yeah,
Yeah.
Greg. I know
Of course,
Greg.
that's only one
Greg
man's
is getting some
opinion.
fame for that quote. Greg is going viral for that quote
Yeah, I
in the past
mean, look,
24 hours.
that's one man's opinion, but
Right.
sometimes I'm like, damn, that ain't really, that's not really too far fetched. I mean, I don't know, man.
What are the caveats though? I haven't read that article. I saw the post because I know, like, let's say here locally, New Orleans area and the surrounding outside of New Orleans, people are still having little festivals. People are still doing things. So the idea of live music going away is more, I think, big live music might go away because of regulations and such. Little things, not so much because people have control. More or less interference from the outside. So I'm wondering what that means, that type of that statement about 2022.
I want to say that Brooks says he just checked out Nate's song "Move" and he says it's dope.
Thank you, Brooks. Appreciate you, man. You went back into the archives. Thank you.
Yeah, yes, sir. Yeah, Steve, Nate, I miss like the worst. And look, I don't want to say it like I don't want to say that. The gig that I had that was like the least exciting, whichever gig that was, I would love to have that gig back. The gig where I just sit there and play for 5 hours and have my little gin and juice on my little break. I would love to have that gig back.
Perspective.
Perspective, baby. Man, look, that's we would play the gig. We play for 3 hours. We take a break for half hour, and I know most people are like, God, dog, it's a long time.
Welcome to New Orleans.
Welcome to New Orleans.
Yeah.
You could play. If you can play in a place like New Orleans, you could, and you got a good head on your shoulders, good attitude or whatever, you could, you can play as much or as little as you want. That's been my experience. But if you take a gig, you gonna play. Ain't gonna be no 45-minute hit or quitter. You gonna work. But and some days that was hard, man. But it was a good group of guys, a fun time, and I miss just the energy and the people, man. So I'm looking forward to that coming back.
Yeah, man. And it's funny you say that, Ted, because I also feel that, as you just said, the appreciation for that camaraderie and community has grown. But I also think that it's a valuable time. And like I said, some of the work I've been doing, it's a valuable time because it's a valuable time to show people and entities are like powers that be. That is also how much it's appreciated because now it's not going on. So we can see exactly how much with no music, no concerts, no music venues, we know exactly how that feels now because before there'd be threats of it like, oh, so-and-so is going to close if their GoFundMe doesn't get funded. And can you picture a world with no this venue or no this festival? Or could you imagine if this didn't get funded? And like now we are in a world where there is no this festival this year. There is no. And so we can appreciate now. I think because there's oftentimes, there's because New Orleans, first of all, has this hustle bustle mentality. It's cool in the culture of New Orleans musicians. It's cool to be going from this gig to that gig, this
Yes.
gig, that gig. Like if you're resting too much, oh, you ain't gigging, you ain't working. Something wrong with you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like so, yeah, it's
Dude,
time to appreciate all
dude,
of
I
it.
got, I mean, because we came back to New Orleans from the Bay Area around the same time, within months of each other,
Yeah,
and I think within a month, I was playing 4 to 6 nights a week.
yep,
Um, I mean, playing,
yep.
and teaching full time as well. So,
That's so crazy.
yeah, I
So
mean, look,
much.
dude, I was absolutely killing myself, but it was a blessing also. I mean, let's really think about we are really. I grew up here in the city of New Orleans. I have never known a time without. We lost Nate. I've
No.
never. I've never known a time with. So he was on his phone, so his phone probably died. I've never known a time without Mardi Gras.
Mm.
Katrina didn't stop Mardi Gras, right?
Yeah.
We are really looking at no Mardi Gras.
Yeah.
Now,
That's
when
pretty
that puts for us New Orleanians, that puts things into some serious perspective. You know what I mean? So, Steven, dude, I have monopolized a lot of your time today. So, brother, I appreciate you. I'm gonna say again, y'all that are watching the chat, please go The Crooked Vines. Go check them out. Young band out of New Orleans, great musicians. I've had the pleasure of working with Steven in another project, and I don't give a damn how good a musician is. For me, they got to be good people too. And so, Steven is one of those cats I put in that bag.
Right back at
So,
you. Right back
hey
at you.
man, you take good care of yourself. I
Thank you.
appreciate you, man, and we will talk soon.
It sounds good. Thanks so much for having me, and be good, man. Thank you.
Absolutely. Everybody on the chat, love y'all. I see Jamal Watson just jumped on.
Hey.
He would come late. He would come late. And this one word, Jamal Watson's theory. Let me go and give him a shout out before his feelings get hurt.
Yeah.
No, man, Jamal Watson is one of the dopest drummers in the area. One of the dopest drummers. He's a good guy too. Especially when he brings me stuff that I can't carry around in my car. He brings them in his truck. So Watson's theory, go check him out as well. All y'all, peace. 2 fingers, you know how I do. I'll see you later, Steve.
Bye. See ya.
Bye-bye.